Good morning, guys. As you remember, I'm Allesio, the Executive Chef of Bexleyheath Academy. I hope you enjoyed the lesson regarding bread and pizza and focaccia. And today we're gonna go a little bit more intriguing. So let's start to use what we got actually in our fridge, which can be any sort of vegetable, as a courgette, as a mixed pepper. In this case, I've got some butternut squash and sweet potato. Everybody got some of white onion or red onion. What we're gonna do today is tagine, Moroccan tagine, which is a Middle East recipe. It's a sort of curry, but it's not that spicy like anybody knows as a curry. The first protein we're gonna use today is a chicken. It's just a simple diced chicken, which I've been put a little bit of lemon juice and oil. And I'm gonna add a little bit of Greek yogurt. Why I'm doing that? As we know, the chicken is a quite low-fat meat. What we want to do, we don't want to get tough, even if it's gonna cook in a sort of sauce. What we're gonna do, we're gonna, with the lemon juice, oil, and Greek yogurt, after a few hours resting in the fridge, we're gonna tenderize all the fiber of the meat. So let's do that. First of all, remember, guys, always for cross-contamination, we need to put our gloves. After I wash already, of course, my hand. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna mix them up, the chicken, which contain, we say, a little bit vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever you go in your house. This one is actually Thai dice of chicken. We got some lemon juice. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna add yogurt. I will say around 100 grams. I'm cooking like 2 kilo of chicken, which is quite good for like 6 or 8 person, or whatever you go left over, you can always skip and freeze. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna mix the mash. So like that, we're gonna put in some hair, and the fiber of the meat, they're gonna start to release their own liquid. So they're gonna get tenderized. After we do that, we're gonna let them rest a little bit. Take off my gloves, and we're gonna start to add the spices. Okay, now we are talking about Moroccan tagine. Moroccan tagine, as I can tell you, is made of spices which is called ras al hanout. Ras al hanout, it means a mix of ground cinnamon, ground cumin, ground turmeric, and in this case a little bit of standard curry powder. Are sort of spices you can have in your house. Of course, we're gonna use a little bit salt, white pepper, garlic. In this case, chickpeas, because we're gonna make also a vegetarian option. And we're gonna use for the chicken base, we're gonna use a little bit of chicken bouillon, chicken paste. And for the vegetarian option, of course, it's gonna be vegetable bouillon paste, which is gonna be very longer with the water. Okay, first of all, we got our mince, which has been resting for a while. Add a little bit of the stove of our coriander. What I'm doing, I'm using the stove of that because the one that got a little bit more flavor. You chop a little bit of that. Make sure when you chop, put your finger a guard all the time, but then you don't cut yourself. We add a little bit of it. Now, as we say, we can see we got all our organization. We're gonna start with 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon into the chicken, 2 tablespoons of ground cumin, we're gonna put 2 tablespoons, same equal amount for each spice, of turmeric, which is gonna give a nice yellow bright color. I'm gonna put a little bit of our standard curry powder, which I think in each of us we got it. I will put a little bit, a pinch of salt. I will say to start with a little bit, and after, if you need, you can add. And a little bit of the black pepper. Yeah. Now, We got some garlic here. I will say chop them up, but if you don't have the capacity of the knowledge how to do it, you can always get a grater. And as you can see, it's quite easy. You're not gonna cut yourself. I will say 2 cloves for this amount. It contains a lot of spices anyway. Okay? After you get that, you just put through your mix. Put it back your gloves before you mix them up. And as you can see now, the color is getting yellow bright. Make sure everything is well toasted. And now what we're gonna start to do, we're gonna start to cook it. So we're going to our stove. I'm using in this case like a flora of vegetable oil to make sure your pan is hot. The big amount we're gonna use that for the chicken, and the little one is gonna be for the. Don't worry, it's not burning because it is a cook and bake. That's gonna be for the chicken one, and that's gonna be for the vegetarian one. Okay, first of all, we're gonna start to sweat the onion, which are gonna be cut in this long wise, called julienne, if you want to know. Quite good amount of onion. I will say for the amount, I will say 3 large Spanish onion, that's what they call it. And we're gonna do the same for the vegetarian. I think we can do 2 dishes in one. There we go. Even if we put already some salt in the mix of the chicken, always what does the salt in physics actually is release all the sweetness. Each vegetable contains sweetness. The only way to remove it, which is sweetness means also flavor, is to release all this liquid and a little bit of black pepper. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna give a good 5 minutes to sweat the onion. Stir it with any sort of spoon or whatever you like. Of course, try to use something non-metallic, because we're gonna give a bitter flavor to our onion. The same for the vegetarian. Okay, as you can see, after 5 minutes sweating, that's what you want to see, the color of the onion, one side and then the other, a little bit like a sort of a brownish caramelized. So, when we arrive in this setting, as you can see, I add some salt and pepper, doesn't need any sort of sugar or whatever, they're already sweet by themselves. We're gonna start slowly to add our chicken on it, in one side. There's the marinated chicken with all the spice we put before, and as you can see, it's been resting for a while. So we just slowly, your gloves of course, start to transfer in the pan. Start to cook them with all the onion. I'm sorry guys, you cannot smell that, but it smells amazing already.
It does smell amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna saute now then, all together. This in one side. Slowly. Make sure you stir them proper. So you leave over there. In the other side, now we're gonna start to add, take off all of your gloves if you handle any meat. We go, start to get You're gonna start first of all with peppers, sweet potato and butternut squash, and aubergine. You can use any vegetable you like. Whatever you got in your fridge, but those ones are quite good for the tagine. Okay, we'll say let's start with the vegetarian. I'm gonna put a certain amount in the vegetarian. As you can see, it's got some little seed, which are cumin seed. So the butternut squash is being peeled, diced up, add a little bit oil, salt, pepper, and a little bit of cumin seed. If you don't have the cumin seed, cumin powder will do that job anyway. So let's put the leftover to the chicken one. Now we go with the pepper, mixed pepper. For the vegetarian. That's for the chicken. Same for the courgette. You want also a little bit of color, is it?
Well, I was about to say, the colours are amazing, Allesio.
Yeah, that's fine. Now slowly, we're gonna let them cook. Just get a little bit more color, a little bit more cook. It's something you can start to do, and after you can just leave it over there, because it will take, I will say, 45 minutes, 50 minutes for the meat one, and for the vegetarian one, it will take around 20 minutes, 25 minutes, as you don't want to smash up too much you want still keeping the crunchiness of the vegetable. So as soon as we arrive at a situation when all the vegetable and all the meat are sauté, so it means with a little bit of color, we can add, I can see you now, I've got some chicken stock. I know guys, you maybe don't have the chicken bouillon or whatever, but oxo, I know it's a meat you can find in any house. Chicken or beef or whatever you like, and vegetarian one. So what you need to do for, I will say, 80 gram is 1.5 liters or 2 liters of water. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pour now the chicken stock to the chicken one. And the vegetarian stock to the vegetarian dish. So now, after is up to you. I like a little bit to give a little bit spicy to the sort of thing. So what I got here, a little bit of chili, deseeded, just normal red chili, deseeded of course because the seeds are the spicy part. I will put a tiny bit in the chicken, I will say half of it, and a little bit in the vegetarian. I know here the guys that will love it, like spicy. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna let them simmer, I will say for 40-45 minutes. We will check of course the level of saltiness, if it's salted enough or not. And last ingredient we're gonna add are the chickpeas. Little bit in the vegetarian. And keep always the water, because the water what it does, it contains a sort of starch. It makes you able to don't add any sort of corn flour or flour. So it's gonna be very natural and very nice. Now we're gonna let them cook for a while. And of course we're gonna start to prep ourselves to do a little bit of garnish, which is gonna be in this case coriander. If you don't have coriander, parsley will do. If you don't have parsley, any sort of herbs you can get also in your garden. I will not recommend to use oregano or other strong spicy like sage, rosemary, because they're gonna cover up all the spices we just put inside. So what we just roughly chop them. You don't need to be very fine, and we're just gonna wait 45 minutes, and we're gonna finish them up with that. Myself with my friend Rob, we make before some of the flatbread before, which is made only from water and flour. Just put in the pan, cook like we do a pancake as well, and maybe it's gonna be one of your next lesson. It's gonna be nice. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna dish them up, put a little bit of your curry, a little bit of sauces like it can be a yogurt dip or baba ganoush, which is a puree of aubergine, and some hummus, as I think you know that. And that's gonna be your dish. And also, if you like, one of these days I'm gonna teach you to do a couscous plate, couscous dish. The simple couscous you always can find in your kitchen. You just need to add a little bit hot water and you mix them up with a few vegetables. Of course, adding some oil and other thing. I hope you enjoy, guys, and hope to see you soon, and stay safe.